gonna put this phone to my head and get brain cancer. Come on.
Oh, I know what I did. There we go. Look at that. Man, I was messing around with this voice changer thing.
All right, good enough.
Broke everything.
Okay, so I'll just start over. So, right. Tonight I'm working on episode 1. I'm tired. I'm drinking Dayblazer Easygoing Ale. I'm going to do streams probably just about every night. Because it's really hard for me to go back and show everybody like the process. And so this is like, it's not tutorial fashion. It's not YouTube easily digested material. Because nobody wants to sit through all this. But if you're one of those people who like sitting through this kind of thing, here we go. I'm going to try to be entertaining. All right? Let me know if you can hear the music, hear my voice, that everything is fine. I am a streamer newbie. And the last thing I was shooting for was tonight we are doing episode 1 storyboards. I did these a while ago. I've already recorded dialogue. I've made the characters that go into this. I did an animatic. But what I want to do now is just talk a little bit about that process and then start refining some of my shots. And I'll talk about how I generated these background images and stuff when I get there. Alright, easygoing ale. Alright, hopefully that won't affect me too much. So what I've got here, where's my mic at, man? What I got here is the first storyboard I did for episode 1. And this is just, describing the scenes, so there's our hero, Celeste and Jesus, entering a tunnel. They're having a conversation, and then just where the camera cuts are, cutting to each character. Here it's saying, the lights go down in the tunnel, so it's completely dark now. And then you see through their headlights, people exiting these cars. Celeste delivers a line, maybe we should get out and check it out. And then, the people act really weird. And Celeste's like, what's going on? Jesus is like, let's get down. Not get down and boogie, but get down so that the weird people can't see them. And then they hunch down and some figure passes by the car. Or probably multiple figures actually are going to pass by the car. So, and then Celeste's like, everything seems like it's alright now because it's quiet. And, lights come back on. They decide to drive out of the tunnel, and as they're driving out of the tunnel, they see just a very large group of figures in the background. Cool. So what I've been doing is generating a lot of my background images using Autodesk Maya, because I know how to use Maya. I'm a technical animator, character rigger for video games and for my real-time job, and I use Maya a lot. So I kind of set that precedent with William Kremet, and the reason I liked it is because I can create an asset. So now I've got a Jeep, and I could show you all. Actually, that might be interesting. Let me show you all what this looks like. Right now I got a Jeep. And so now I can just shoot that Jeep however I want. I can shoot each seat or, the outside, whatever I want to do. Well, here. You're going to see in just a minute. So here's like the whole scene I was shooting in. And there we go. So here's that shot, right? Like, it's funny, like, Maya's new renderer actually looks better than the rendered image. I'm trying to use toon shaders. I am not a modeler. I'm a technical animator. I write code and I make it so that the characters can move in games. I don't model things. I try. But this is my interior Jeep, and I put a toon shader on this stuff because I wanted a nice flat shader that wasn't extremely detailed. So the way I've kind of defined the style for this, and this is primarily just because I am one artist, I'm making a lot of content and I don't have time to make a lot of stuff, right? So the style I kind of defined was like, okay, here's my flat 2D characters. Here is like a 3D layer, and this is where all my 3D rendered images come into play. And then maybe even beyond that, like the backgrounds will be photographs that I just edit a bit. And this is kind of like the Gumball, right? I don't know if you've ever seen Gumball, but that's what they do in there. They have a lot of like highly photoshopped images as backgrounds for the very very cartoony 2D characters. So I'm kind of going with something like that. So what we have here is all my shots lined out, and I hid things and different stuff like that. But here I've got like it's a car is gonna drive by. There's another car, boom, 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 and this tunnel sequence I captured where they're actually driving into the tunnel, and this lets me get a nice dynamic moving image without having to draw like tons and tons of frames. And then I'm gonna take the Adobe Character Animator puppets and just kind of like in After Effects comp them into this car, and the car itself doesn't move on screen, right? If we look here, it's not like these seats are moving. It's everything around them is going to move. The tunnels and everything will move. So I'm going to comp the characters into all these shots in After Effects. So here we just have like, here's Celeste is going to talk and Jesus is going to talk, and then maybe they'll both talk. There's a shot where we zoom out of the tunnel, and this is when you're going to see the horde of figures. Yeah, so anyways, that's all in there. And if we were to go out and kind of like look at this from this perspective, we can see there's some of the tunnel I'm going to use and all this kind of junk, right? So it's a big 3D scene I created with lighting and cameras. Cool. Yeah, super interesting. Right, so back to storyboards. So I rendered out all my images from the camera that I want to use, and now what I'm trying to do is get in here and refine these images. Here I might just I'm trying to decide, like I could draw over these and make them look nicer, but then I'm setting a precedent for drawing over my images, right? So I want to set a firm style and stick to that. And so if I'm going to draw over this one, then I'm going to probably be drawing over every one of these 3D images I create for the 5 episodes we have planned, which is kind of, that's kind of a lot of work. So I'm not entirely sure that I want to do that, but I am doing some editing to these photos because I found, or to these images, because I found that the lighting just doesn't look right. I might make layers, pardon me, so that I can do kind of a lighting shift, because they're going to be there's going to be the interior of the Jeep during the daytime, and there's going to be the interior of the Jeep during the nighttime. And this is sort of my night image comp together here. So there they are, they'd be talking. Here's like a behind Jesus's head shot, so we can see out of the Jeep, all that kind of stuff. I'm sorry, I'm not quite sure what I have open here. Okay, there we go. So I started just drawing in the characters to see what I'm gonna need. Can I make them fit, right? Any of you that are using Adobe Character Animator, I mean, the limitations of that. You're gonna get your head turns, that kind of stuff. But like if I wanted to have sort of a unique angle on this character, kind of like the stuff I did, let's see here real quick, let's pull one of these up. Oh, my sound, my music. Curator's favors for November. Sounds great. Anyone can hear the music. I mean, just type in there, I can hear the music, or it's too low, or whatever. So, something I've been enjoying doing is stuff like this, like where it's like I made an illustration basically, and then I animated that illustration. And I think the results you get out of Character Animator that way are really good, and I really enjoy that. Um, Pardon me, that's just really loud. But I don't want to have to do that all the time, right? One of the savings of Character Animator is that I can make a puppet that has all the emotions and all the triggered animations and all that good stuff, and then just use that consistently throughout my animation. So where possible, I'm really just trying to make the characters fit camera-wise. Like if we look at um, like this, I just wanted to keep it flat and front, like a front view of the character, and then all the head turns and everything are going to work. Here I'm pushing it, but I really want to show that Jesus and Celeste are ducked down in these seats. So I'm trying to make it fit, and here I already see, I mean, I really need like this profile view of Celeste, and I might even want to have a sort of a 3/4 behind view as if she's looking over at Jesus, you know, during the dialogue. I can probably get away with not doing that, but I probably really do want that. I don't know. Jesus, I'm just trying to fit so he's looking at Celeste. So with this front view, all of his head turns will work. I'll probably shut off the, I want to say right head turns where he looks, you know, down, and just leave the other ones on so he can like sort of look out this front window and stuff. Alright, that's it. So that's what I'm going to work on now, I think. I'm going to bring in my characters and kind of chop them up and try to build this image up. And I do believe this is actually the shot I'm using now. Yeah, it is. So I'm going to go ahead and just close these up. I'm not going to need them. Oh, hey, check out this shot there. I love this one. So this is the tunnel, and now it's dark, and we've got the headlights going. And this is all done in that program, Maya. I showed you that. Alright, yeah, there we go. I guess no one's chatting. I'm so bad at streaming. I really am. I'll just type in something to see if it pops up. Okay. So yeah, this is the tunnel once the lights go out. And what I'm actually doing is grabbing images from Google Maps, because you can change the angles and stuff a little bit, and just using those as sort of background plates for the end caps of the tunnel. Hiding. Okay, yep, this is the one. So now let me just see if I can find some images of our heroes. There's little Celeste. So I got a Celeste here. Oh, just use hotkeys. Sorry, Control O will open. Try to put in some tutorial. I don't know. Jesus. Alright, cool. So I can just drag these into, let me just close everything I don't need. Sorry, just thinking here. I think I'm going to leave these open. Oh, darn it. Sorry. PZP episodes. I was trying to be clever. I thought you could drag tabs to reorganize them. Hiding. There we go. Okay. Alright, so I got Jesus. Let me just drag him into here. He's going to be huge, but I'll fix that in a second. And so what I'm doing here, I'm just using them for reference. I am using them for their color palette. And what I have been doing color palette wise is just like using this and then shifting my hues later on to mimic the lighting that's going on in the scene. Let's hide her for now. So with Jesus, I'm trying to figure out, like, I kind of pictured him, you know, he's crunched down in this car. How big is his head in this? He's probably a little smaller just to make my life easier. No, it seems too small. He's kind of crunched down in the car. It's like if I'm in a car, or if I'm in a seat and I'm trying to hide, you know, I mean, I just kind of pull my butt down like this, and my head, well, I guess I could get it to face 3/4, but it's going to be tilted to my body. Alright, so really I think I'm just going to use his head out of here. It's just so, it's so big. His head is so large. But listen, this is animation here, folks. This isn't like science, okay? So what we're gonna do is just say heck with it, and I'm gonna cut off his head, because that's what people do. That's what you do in a society. There we go. So his head, I can imagine kind of like this, looking over at Celeste. We just need to show he's crouching down, you know, it's not like, and then his body is gonna get all changed up. So I'm gonna put it over here and just kind of draw to get an idea of how that's gonna look. And that, I mean, ultimately too, with character animator, it's cool, man. I mean, if you can just use the head, whoa, coming in here, if you can just use the head, then you're good to go. Because that's where all the real animation happens. If I have to re-rig a body, I'm not, you know, super concerned about that. Not a huge time sink. So ultimately, when I do that, if I'm looking over there, you know, my chin's gonna be kind of against my chest. Oh, it's just so dark. Let me just get like an electric blue out here for now. You know, and then my shoulder would probably be jammed in here somewhere, crinking my neck. His torso would certainly be bent. And it's not super large, and this is my proportion thing, like, definitely my torsos are much smaller. You know, so he's just in here, maybe his hand ends up draped across his lap here. I'm still ducked down like I'm in the car, sorry. I don't know what I might, just to make the dynamic pose thing happen, like his arm is up, almost bracing the door, and you know, his knee might raise a bit here, and I imagine it going off to the side here. But this is nice, I don't have to show too much there. That just kind of takes care of itself. Which means we're going to end up with this kind of neck pose here. I know you're all blown away by my drawing ability here, right? Alright. And then just start to get a sense of what that really is, what's really happening here. I'm going to drag that above there. You know, like his neck, coming down here. This is where his sleeves happen, you know, so you have his arm. And he's just holding on to his own gut like, oh gosh, what's happening? I'm gonna puke. And then that collar in there somewhere. I do zone out as I draw, sorry. I only got one viewer anyways. Not that my one viewer is not important. If they're an actual real viewer, I don't even know anymore. So that's basically that. I don't know, just right now just trying to figure out where stuff goes here. This isn't my normal drawing method, but I want to see the forms. Actually, we're not even going to see any of that because it's going to be behind. There's not going to be a lot of motion. Let's take the opacity down here for a second. Hey, we're not actually seeing any of that stuff. Just this hand poking out. Yep, there we go. And you know, if I need to, I would render out these objects in the 3D scene as separate layers, and that way I can comp them better. But I don't really intend to even move his body here. I'm just gonna get the facial animation and everything going, so I can put a quick mask on this. Well, yeah, I can even do that, even if I want to move his body. I can just create a mask in After Effects that accounts for these little areas here. So ultimately, it wouldn't be bad to be able to make this into a final image of his body, or at least use it as a solid reference. So, you know, I will define it a little bit. You know, I won't go nuts, but and this way I'll be able to just drop it into Illustrator, which quite frankly I would I'd prefer just to do this in Photoshop in many ways, because you get a more naturalistic look in my opinion. But Illustrator made it possible for me to create almost like a character factory for the characters in this series, and so I'm not really, I want the look to be the same, so I've been doing everything. I've been drawing all the bodies and everything in Illustrator, so I'll end up bringing this in there and making a nice refined sort of copy of it. So then when we go back under here, we can just paint with, not worrying about running over those lines I just made. That's a funny looking hand. He looks like he has a claw, like a lion's paw or something. A lemur. He's got a lemur paw for a hand. What's going on? Okay. Yeah. Not trying to get crazy over here or anything. I'm just trying to get an idea. Is that going to look alright? You know? And I think, I don't think it's too bad. So, and this is the place to figure all this out, friends. In video game production, we have have so many stages. There's just so many stages to any production. You know, there's the whole previs stage where it's just really dirty, sort of, you know, this is what it's going to look like. We do a lot of concept art. Like, here's what the characters are going to look like. You know, backgrounds, just everything. And then we start getting into story arc. You know, pardon me, what is the story behind this here video game? And we'll even do storyboarding to some degree, that sort of thing. Not as much as probably like a film production does, because in a video game everything's dynamic anyways. It's not like A to B, but I mean, we'll do that, especially for cutscenes. It's like, okay, we want to know what these cutscenes are going to look like. Well, that lion's paw is driving me crazy. Wait, what am I doing? I'm meaning to be erasing. Yeah, doesn't really matter too much. Let's just get, oops, a little bit of his pants color in here. And then I'll show you a little something. Yeah, okay, so yeah, video games anyways. So there's like the pre-production, and then you'll get something that's called the vertical slice once you actually go into production. I mean, the time between the beginning of pre-production and actual start of production can be a considerable amount of time, in the range of year, 2 years, depending. When you're dealing with a huge budget project, it's not something you want to goof around with, right? You could be losing millions of dollars. So, and then we go into actual production, and that of course can take a long time, a year, 2 years, 3 years, depending on what game you're making. So my point of all that was that it's a good idea to do all this kind of stuff beforehand. I mean, it's fun enough to say, oh, I'm gonna make an animation. I'm gonna, you know, it's a person and they're in a bathroom and they're gonna do this and say this, and then just kind of like throw all your stuff together and start animating. You know, and I mean, you can do that. You can do that. It's just the quality level is not going to be quite as high, right? And when we do something like this, it starts informing a lot of things. Like, we recently discovered, once you see and hear everything together, you kind of want to start changing the script. You want to, this paw is driving me, you know, I don't even care. I gotta ignore it. You'll start changing the script, and you're just polishing at this point, because you're starting to really get a feel for what everything looks like together. So I highly recommend going through this whole process. So here we got Celeste, and Celeste is the one that I'm really just gonna want. Oh, let me think. You know what, let's open Celeste for a second, because I think I can steal. Oh gosh, I think I can just steal her 3/4 head and plop it down in here. Plop it down, plop it down, plop it down, plop it down. Characters. I'm looking at like incredibly important things here. Okay, so yeah, so this is the Illustrator artwork, if you were wondering. And I like it. I mean, it's, I don't know. It's very clean looking, which is nice, but it's also nice to have that kind of rough, hand-drawn look. But what I really love about it is everything is still vector. So if I wanted to make a new character, I've already got all the layers. I've got all these shapes defined. My eyes are in there, And so I can just kind of blow through here and make adjustments to the head shape and the lips and the skin tone, the hairstyle. But I'm not drawing everything again. And I will certainly make a drawing like I did with blue. I feel like I need to open everything, but let's see. Yeah. Yeah, like this here. So I'll do a drawing like this. I'll do many drawings like this regarding like what the character looks like, and then I'll bring it in here and sort of fit it. That way I get my whole naturalistic Photoshop flow thing happening, but then I can finally vectorize everything here in Illustrator. And my tangents are powerful here. So she's going to be looking this way. I prefer for her not to have every single mouth visible. Yep. She's got multiple eyebrows visible. I don't care that much, man. I don't want to get lost in all this. All right, I'm here now. Here we go. And I'm probably gonna, I don't know. I might not even paint over it. I was thinking it could be fun to show her expression, but and then I can just export this. Oh, here we get my typewriter. Whoa, 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 whoa. Celeste under 3/4. There we go. And that's fine. We'll go high res. Okay. Sorry, everyone. I got a message there. Celeste, 3/4. Okay. So here's our lady. And we'll just bring her in there. And then we'll get rid of this one. I should probably save this, because I've been doing a lot of stuff without saving it. Ooh. There we go. That solves all of my problems. If I just do that, then I can't see anything. So this is kind of cool. So now I can just get a sense of her scale. You know, it's like if your torso is in a seat, you don't want to look like a baby. So something like that might actually be okay. And then we get kind of a closer view of her, which is fun. Yeah, it's kind of the same thing, I guess. Just her head's gonna be a 3/4 view. And I'm just gonna shrink this down a little bit so I can grab the whole thing. Might bork my artwork a little bit, but I'm not really concerned about overall quality at this time. And no, I'm not gonna paint her shirt. That is not happening. Not right now. Alright, so now I have gone and beheaded Celeste. And you know, I'm just trying to show, hey, we're ducking down, okay? I mean, I don't have to make it, I'm hoping at least no one's gonna, you know, sit there and dissect, well, you know, her head appears, you know, in reference to the size of a standard 1997 Jeep Cherokee, which does have the bucket seats. I'm just hoping. There's always nerds like that out there. I know you're out there. All right. Just getting an idea here. A little more duck down looking, I guess. Yeah. I mean, that should be pretty good. I get the sense that they're in a Jeep or in a vehicle. You know, there's a window which leaves me a space for my zombie to walk by. said it. I said zombie. And then I can perform the dialogue fairly easily by just comping in these new characters. And so I guess what I'll do is, I'll end up making a new body for Jesus and Celeste. And actually, if I draw them however I leave them, here in this scene, then I should be able to bring them into Character Animator, make it so they just don't move. Or, you know what, I might even make a couple Character Animator files that are just these characters' heads, talking heads, that don't actually move around in 3D space, in the screen. Just do their dialogue and do head tilts a little bit. And that should be good. I can comp that all together in After Effects. Cool. Let's do this. So pretty much I'm just going to... Ooh, I got 3 viewers. Hi, everybody. I'm pretty much just going to, draw in her body a little bit. Yeah, I mean, this is the thing. If you want to get... I don't know. I want to get something that looks cinematic. I like, Gumball or any of those things. They're great, and that's a great style. But even they get cinematic at times. Honestly, they make some interesting shots. Rick and Morty is always a huge inspiration for me. I just want a little reference of her somewhere here real quick. Sorry. Just a little tiny Celeste. There we go. Yeah, anyways, I mean, it's fun to get kind of cinematic. I still impose some limitations, of course, in that I want to keep their heads facing forward and that kind of junk. So really, this is all Celeste is going to need, is just a bit of her shirt. Right? And I can buy all this. I mean, here's the... I don't know, maybe... I want her just to be a little larger. What do you all think? What do you all think? A little larger? I don't know. That's probably fine, honestly. So with this in mind, I'll be able to take these into Illustrator and do my thing, which is just fine by me. And then the rest of the shots, honestly, that I have are fairly easy as far as staging goes. I think I had this one. Okay, so that's cool. This is a little worrisome. I think I have a new one where it's both seats. Use your hotkeys, sir. Control O. And where it's both seats, it's just facing, flat forward. Let's see if I can dig that up here quickly. Yeah, it's just this. And this is nice and easy because I just have to get the colors to match now. Yeah, more like that. I don't know what I did with that shot that I got it so wrong as far as colors, but... And this way I don't have to worry about it, right? I can just take Celeste again, and I can pull her in here, And she might end up being a little bigger than that I think I originally imagined. Like, you don't want to see... Yeah. Maybe even a little larger than that will fit. It's a cartoon, for sure. It's a weird mix of styles I'm going for. I'm trying to get, it's cartoony, but it's kind of gritty kind of thing going on. And there's Jesus. And that's pretty much it. Big heads. I can always shrink their heads. I haven't committed fully yet. I haven't made an episode yet. But I don't know. I kind of like this. Because Adobe Character Animator's strength, at least, is the dialogue. And that's why I decided to use it and try to do dialogue heavy stuff. Who's got their seat pushed back the furthest, though, you know? They get to have the hair in front. I think Celeste would, well, she's shorter, but that doesn't mean she wouldn't push her seat to hold it back. Oh, now that I see that, I want to have one seat pushed back a little. It doesn't matter. No one's going to care. Right? I think that's fine. How does it look? I mean, does it look... Just thinking here. The golden mean. Think of the golden mean. It's kind of cool. Talking. They still have room for head turns. They're just really close, but I don't think that bothers me. I kind of like it. It's filling up the whole screen. I feel like Jesus is a little smooshed or something. I think I might reshoot this one. Wider angle lens. Try to get some of the perspective, because I'm feeling like there's like a little tilt in perspective to the seats with the focal point being in the center. So I'll try to widen the angle a little bit and get them a little flatter. Yeah, because you can definitely see the perspective here. Either that or I'll just take like, not that, take like, I don't know, comp them together somehow. I don't know. I don't know how much it bothers me. I'm a lone wolf. You gotta, hopefully the internet will cut me some slack here. There's only so much art I can make. Yeah, see now. And then that'll be like, okay, now we switch the camera over to Jesus. And I need more music. I'm giving this up in a second anyways. Fall unplugged. Sure, sounds good. Okay, so yeah, so that's Jesus. Save that. Oops. And then Celeste close up the car, and I'll just use this Celeste. It's fine. Oh, I had it for just a brief moment. Where'd it go? Close up in the car. Shaza. Oh, she's huge. It's like Attack of the 20-foot woman, 30-foot woman. She was some amount of feet. I know that. I feel like a little compressed here now that I see this. I really want her eyes to be maybe more like there. I just don't want to shrink her body down too much. It might still be alright. A little scudge more. It's a cartoon, right? When I fit in my chair, I'm trying to think how I fit into my car. I'm sure it's a little more snug, but you know. Again, citing the single artist affair. So that is pretty much it. I'm gonna post these up for my peeps to look at, so they can see where I'm going with this. And then that's it. That's it. That's all I'm gonna do tonight. It's late for me. For those of you that did drop in for a little while, thanks. It's nice to have you. It would be cool if you chatted a little bit, just said hi or something. Maybe I need to watch this on like the watch page. I don't think that changes anything. I don't think